And now, Brandon, we're going to move over to the hardwood and, more importantly, your favorite team in college basketball, the North Carolina Tar Heels. And this next segment on the podcast is going to be simple. The Tar Heels this past weekend getting their revenge for earlier in the season. Duke beat them. This weekend, the Tar Heels go ahead and beat the Dukies in Cameron for, I want to say, what was it, the first time in 4 years or 8 years that they had won in Cameron Indoor?
Yes, it was, because I think it was Bryce Johnson and Marcus Page. Neither one of them had ever won at Duke.
So it's a big win for North Carolina. And after this win, we're going to be talking plain and simply. Do the Tar Heels, is this win enough to solidify them as a 1 seed in March Madness?
It has been, I think, in my mind, and some people listening would go 25-6, and you're saying this? For North Carolina, I really do think it's been a little bit of an up and down season. They've had some stretches where they just didn't play well. Some games they did not play well. That game on the road at Texas, they lose 84-82.
Game on the road at Northern Iowa, who we're going to talk about in a little bit.
They should have beat Texas. The Northern Iowa game got away from them, or, as you said, we'll allude to it, did it. Is Northern Iowa a little bit better than that? But then they had a rough week a couple of weeks back when they played at Louisville, lost, at Notre Dame, lost. Then they lost to Duke. But now, this last stretch, after they lost to Duke 74-73, they beat Miami, blow them out, beat NC State, lose to Virginia, beat Syracuse, and then beat Duke. This North Carolina team, I think, after this win over Duke, you don't play that well. You really don't. Shooting wasn't that great. You had so many cold spells. You out-rebounded them, though, by about 50. You outplayed Duke, and you didn't play well. I really think that this North Carolina team now, after seeing them beat Duke in such a hostile environment, and after looking at what they've done in the last probably, I'd say, 2 weeks, I do think that this North Carolina team can be a number one. I do. I think that, I really think the win against Duke solidifies it for me. But then how they play in the ACC tournament, which is huge and coming up, that is going to be really, really big. They play Thursday at 11. And it's going to be a big game. They're going to be either taking on Pittsburgh or Syracuse. Either one of those teams going to be big. But if they play well in the ACC tournament, absolutely, without a doubt, a number 1 seed.
Well, and the whole thing is, in order right now, and Joe Lunardi's bracketology, we have 2 ACC teams, I'm going to use a Lunardi term, on the top line. 2 1 seeds in Virginia and North Carolina. And on Saturday, when I was watching some college basketball, they would bring in Lunardi in the middle of games. And it was after, I want to say, the North Carolina game. They bring him in, they go, okay, how's it looking right now? Or it was before North Carolina. He goes, well, if North Carolina wins, they'll stay on the 1 line. Virginia's on the 1 line. He goes, but to be honest, after the ACC tournament, I don't think there's going to be 2 ACC teams on that top line. And to me, for that to happen, a lot needs to go wrong. Villanova has to lose their tournament. Kansas has to not win their tournament. Oklahoma can't win their tournament because basically if Kansas or Oklahoma wins the Big 12, they're getting a 1 seed. One of those teams is getting the 1 seed if they win the conference tournament. You also have teams like Virginia can't win it if North Carolina doesn't. But to me, the best way is you just win your tournament because Michigan State currently on the 2 line. They win the Big Ten. They could be a 1 seed. Another team that I saw today on ESPN, there was an article, it was plain and simple. If Oregon wins the Pac-12, could Oregon be a 1 seed? Oregon's a 2 seed right now in the West region for Joe Lunardi. Mind-blowing. And I say mind-blowing because Sean Anderson here of MVP, when you ask him, who's usually your sleeper team? He goes, Oregon. I always pick Oregon. But to me, the best way for the Tar Heels to get that 1 seed is to win out. They have to win their next couple of games. And to me, I feel like Pitt or Syracuse, whoever they have, they're going to win easily. The next round, I would love to see them play Duke again, but I think Notre Dame can beat Duke. And I think we'll see another North Carolina, Notre Dame. I feel like we'll see North Carolina, Notre Dame, Virginia, Miami. That's what I'm feeling right now. And then, based on that point, I would love to see Virginia, North Carolina, but I would lean towards North Carolina, Miami in the championship game.
So you don't think that we would see a North Carolina and a Virginia come out of the ACC as...
No, whoever wins the tournament will get the 1 seed. The loser will get the 2 seed. Because a lot of things go into it. And the only way we get both of them as 1 seeds, if Michigan State, Oregon, and Oklahoma implode, and Kansas does not win the Big 12. I don't see those things happening. I just don't see it. Because Michigan State right now, they're picking up a lot of steam. Denzel Washington came out and basically called the championship for the Spartans.
Denzel Valentine?
Denzel Valentine. I said Denzel Washington. I love Training Day.
Who honestly doesn't?
Who doesn't love Training Day? But he came out, Valentine, not Washington. Denzel Valentine came out, called it, said, you know what? Boom. Michigan State going to win a championship. They're on a run. Oregon's on a run. If you're North Carolina, you want the 1 seed, you win the ACC tournament. That's how you get it.
I think that North Carolina, it was either probably a week or maybe even 2 ago, I was thinking it was going to be Virginia, but I really do think that after some of the wins here late that we saw from North Carolina, and especially the win against Duke, I put a lot of stock into that game. I really think that North Carolina is getting a lot of steam heading into this tournament. And I think that's huge. I think that is huge. It's about being good, but it's about gaining steam and momentum at the right time. North Carolina is doing it right now, and they're currently have the best record in their conference, in the ACC, 14-4. Virginia right behind them. North Carolina or Virginia, either one of those teams, I think, are winning this conference. They are. They are winning this conference tournament. I don't see how one of those teams doesn't do it.
Hey, I gave you my choice. Right now, if I had to put any money on this tournament, I'm saying North Carolina and Miami in the championship. And you see that matchup, and that is in favor of the Tar Heels. Virginia, to me, are they a good team? Yeah, they are. I just feel like if Virginia goes up against Miami in a neutral site, Miami's going to get the upset. That's why with North Carolina Duke, that's a game. I mean, Duke, of course, has to either beat NC State or Wake Forest to possibly get to Notre Dame. But if we see 4 Notre Dame go up against 5 Duke, that's another upset-worthy kind of performance. I think the team from the ACC we got to talk about is Boston College. They haven't won a single game in the ACC.
Haven't won an ACC game.
What if they run the table, win it all, get a bid to March Madness? Probably ain't going to happen.
If they did that, I would have, I think, all the confidence in the world that I could change water into wine. That's how I think about that.
The next Jesus Christ? Is that what you're saying?
No, but in training, possibly.
Yeah. But I mean, Boston College, they ain't going to win the ACC. If you don't know, that was a joke. Go get your humor checked.
To be quite honest with you, I still think it's really, really nice that they even allowed Boston College to be in the ACC tournament, seeing as they have not been anywhere in the ACC this season.
Well, there's a couple of conference tournaments. The Ohio Valley Conference is one of them, and I bring them up because Austin Peay, who was 18-17, 7-9 in the conference this season, received the automatic bid from the Ohio Valley Conference. And the story about them was they had to win on the last day of the regular season just to get the 8th seed, which is the last seed in that tournament. They had to win on that day just to get in. And then they ran the table and won the OVC to go to March Madness. They'll probably be a 16th seed, probably a play-in 16. But we're going to see the governors from Austin Peay in March Madness.
I think you may be one of the only people who's excited about that. But you know what? We will we'll let you be. We will let you be.
Do you think North Carolina, before we get to Northern Iowa in a little bit, last thing to kind of round out North Carolina, do they run the table? Do they win the ACC tournament?
You know, I think they will. I think that North Carolina definitely will do that right now. You've got this team peaking, right now. I think that you win against Duke, at Duke, for the first time for some of these kids. That's incredible. That alone will help propel you to new heights. If you saw Roy Williams and his guys after that game, the excitement and just the camaraderie that he has with his players and they have with their coach, it's incredible. This team is going to win the ACC tournament. I expect it, fully expect it. I'm looking forward to it, and it's going to be a good ride, baby. So strap yourself in and get the popcorn ready. It's going to be good.